Where do you think Arteta will fit him in, guys?
Well, he's a versatile midfielder. He can play as a deep line playmaker, but we've seen him to brilliant effect as a number 8 now because Real Sociedad have had Martin Zubimendi doing such a brilliant job as a holding midfielder. And as Sam said there, Arsenal have struggled a little bit to fill the void left by Granit Xhaka in terms of the left side of that midfield three. Kai Havertz was used at the start of last season, but he's excelled so much now as a central striker. And Declan Rice has really showed what he can do in advanced areas as a box-to-box midfielder. But now with the options that Arsenal have across that midfield line, it does give Mikel Arteta the opportunity to rotate. You fear for the minutes for the likes of Fabio Vieira and Jorginho and Thomas Partey may have a slightly lessened role, I think, now with Merino coming in, because what's fascinating is he played alongside Martin Odegaard on loan for a season when Odegaard was at Real Sociedad on loan. They combined really well there, and a few years on, you just wonder what they can do together. So I think it's a case of somebody who can slot in straight away as a starter, but also it's just giving Arsenal those options. We've seen them over the course of the last few years under Mikel Arteta and Edu. They've been signing players in defensive areas, in midfield areas. They're not signing many strikers or wide attacking midfielders. They're really trying to build those foundations, increase that strength in competition for places in that midfield, just to give them that extra percent as they try and close the gap on City once more.
It feels to me like physicality is one of the key things now when Premier League clubs are trying to make transfers and identifying players. I think we've seen it with Manchester City, and I think Arsenal are following suit in terms of signing big guys who can win physical battles in the air and also ground duels as well. And I wanted to pick out some of Arsenal's latest signings from the last couple of windows, and you will see Merino is obviously starred as it's not yet to be confirmed, but Calafiori 6'2", David Raya 6 foot, Declan Rice 6'1", Kai Havertz 6'3", poor old Jurrien Timber at the bottom. Tells everyone he's 6'2", but he's actually a bit like me. But he's actually 5'9".
Still taller than us, isn't he? Unfortunately.
But I think it just continues the trend of big players who are going to be important in both boxes as well, not just attacking set pieces, but defending set pieces. And Merino, that's one of his strengths as well, being good in the air. We've seen that in La Liga and at the European Championships as well.
Both title challengers signing midfielders. So Mikel Merino at Arsenal and then İlkay Gündoğan at Manchester City. Which player do you think is going to have the most impact?
See, I think it's going to be Merino. I really do. Really? I think Gündoğan is like a cherry on top of the cake, almost. That little bit of stardust that Manchester City know all about, and they can bring him in. But I just think the way Arsenal have reinvented their left-hand side, I think Merino's going to have such a huge impact. And we saw at key moments last year, effectively, Arsenal's title challenge and Champions League campaign faltered over the space of 4 days. They were beaten at home by Aston Villa and they were beaten in the Champions League by Bayern Munich. And you look back and think about those games. Gabriel at the front post missed the challenge for Leon Bailey's goal for that game at the Emirates that they went on to lose. And then Kimmich won a header in the box at the game at the Allianz Arena. Those are key moments. Those are key players. And I even think at the game at the Emirates against Bayern Munich, Kivior missed a tackle. Sane went on to win a penalty. I think Mikel Arteta has identified those key moments, big games. This is how tight and marginal top-level football is. Manchester City are scoring 90-plus points every season. It comes down to knockout games in the Champions League. It's big moments like that. And Mikel Arteta has looked at it and tried to fix those key moments. And I'm using the word fix very loosely because it's not really fixing, because they've got amazing players there anyway. It's just that little level above that they've tried to identify this summer and improve on, and that's why I think Merino is going to be one of the biggest impacts over Gündoğan.
I think he'll be a good impact and a big impact for Arsenal. But when you look at Gündoğan, what he's done in previous years for City, how important he was for Barcelona as well. It's not like he's dropped off in form or standards. He still has the high standards that he had at Manchester City, and we saw them linked with Bruno Guimaraes. We saw loose links of Eberechi Eze. He's almost a player that can do both. We've seen Gündoğan play everywhere for City and do those roles perfectly. When you're looking at strengthening the squad, that is the type of player you bring in. But because almost we didn't see it coming, it's like maybe that's why you're underestimating the impact that he can really have. He can walk straight into that squad anywhere Pep wants him. Someone that knows his system so well, someone that demands respect. He's a leader as well, and the teams that are in the Premier League, they know the impact he's had as well. So I think he just edges it just because of his familiarity to the league.
Do you want to have the deciding vote?
I think Merino will play more minutes than Gundogan this season.
The question
simply
was
because of his
impact,
age.
not minutes.
I think both will slot in fairly seamlessly. Gundogan having spent 7
he's on the
seasons.
fence.
Come on, Manchester City.
You got
But I
splinters.
think
Gonna have to
Merino
rush you. We
will
need
be
an
the one.
answer.
Merino.
Merino.
2-1. 2-1 Arsenal.
Sam?
That's what I hope it'll end this season.
You.
We got a draw.
Nobody asked me, but I'm with Sam. OK.